Alright, so we're on to our next step in creating the renewal proposals. We've created our report and exported it to Excel. Our next step is to customize the Excel spreadsheet with any other information we might need in order to create the renewal proposals. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open our Excel sheet that we've been working with, and we're going to do a few things to it. First of all, just as far as formatting goes, to make it easier to look at, you're going to want to resize the columns. That can be done easily just by dragging between the cells at the top, between like the A and B, for example. There also is a faster way to do it if you want to auto size all of the columns. If you click here in the top left hand corner and you put your mouse, your cursor right in between any two of the columns, it's going to show you that little bar with two arrows coming out of it. You simply need to double click and it will automatically resize all the columns to be the right size. So nice little tip there, can be helpful. So I'm going to resize this right here, and I'm going to move over to the right so we have all of our property address, billing address, all that information. And then additionally, over here on the end, we have our amount, we have our minimum and maximum visits. Obviously, for some of these, minimum and maximum is 999, simply because they were not set up with the correct number of cuts, or because it's an unlimited contract. And so what we can do in this case is do some more formatting. So let's say this column, for example, we want to change that to dollars. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then we want to add in any other columns that might apply for our contract. So let's also talk about, or let's put in here number of visits. So I'm going to write this in, and we're going to say everybody's going to get 28 visits. And rather than filling out this whole thing like this, if you put in the first two cells and you highlight this, you can simply grab this little square on the corner and drag it all the way down to the bottom. And that will fill in automatically all of those, rather than having to type it in every single one. Alright, so that's number of visits. Let's also do number of months in the contract. In this case, we'll say 7 months. We'll do the same here, same thing here. And another tip, instead of dragging all the way to the bottom, you can even just double click this square right here. So I'm going to double click that, refill it out. And so you could edit these if you had different numbers of visits for some customers, and some of them have the contract over longer months, etc. So what we can do here is we can create a formula if you wanted to do a monthly installment. So let's say our monthly installment column right there, and I'm going to resize that. And so we're going to create a formula here. Now if you're not familiar with creating formulas in Excel, they're really great, and so it would be beneficial for you to spend some time learning how to create simple formulas in Excel. They can help you a lot. So if you want to do this formula, what we're going to do is we're going to want to take the amount, the charge per job, times the number of visits, and then divide it into the number of months to get our monthly installment. So I'm going to hit equals, and I'm going to create a parenthesis here, and I'm going to do the amount, so I click on that, times the number of visits, and I'm going to close my parenthesis, and then I'm going to do that divided by the number of months. So I click on that right there. Okay, so we get $124.80 as our installment price over 7 months. And then I can just do my autofill here, same thing. It will fill it out for all the rest. I can format it as currency, just like that, and so we have our monthly installment prices. So if I go in and change any of this information, let's say I wanted to increase this price to $30, you'll see on the left hand side that my monthly installment price will change automatically. Or if I change the number of visits to 30 visits, for example, it will adjust the price. If I change my number of months, it will adjust the price. That kind of thing. So you can play around and the formula will stay the same. So this is where you would continue to create any other columns with information that you might need. Maybe you have a discounted price, that kind of thing, you could add in here. So if you had a 10% discount for prepay or something like that, you could do equals 124.80 times 0.9, so that's going to be 90% of the price, and we got that there, our 10% discount. So you go on to continue to create any other columns necessary, and then move on to the next step.